Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC and this is Blue Lines TV, and today I'm bringing you guys a different video. I'm bringing you guys a tactical breakdown of Barcelona, what to expect from them, how they play, how they like to defend off the ball as well. And for the end of this video, I'm going to be talking about how I think we can counter Barcelona and where their weakness areas are, especially when Conte has come out to state that he feels that Barcelona have a particular weakness in their team, and I think I might know what he's talking about. But getting into the introduction for this video, Ernesto Valverde did replace Luis Enrique in the summer to become the new Barcelona manager, and at the time quite a lot of people were quite skeptical as to why Barcelona signed him. Valverde has been a well-respected manager, however. He did leave Bilbao to become the new Barcelona manager, but beforehand he has actually won titles in Greece with Olympiacos. Now you might be thinking, why did Barca even replace Enrique? He had MSN, he had won the Champions League with them the season before that. What was the need to get rid of him? Well, basically, Barca had become tactically found out. Of course, they relied a lot on the direct play to the front three in Neymar, Suarez and Messi, but they were very predictable and they didn't really have any midfield influence when it came to doing the plan B. So when teams started to counter that against Barcelona, then they really started to struggle. As well as the fact that the front three really didn't press that much or really come back to help do their defensive duties, and Barcelona were looking quite predictable at the end of Enrique's tenure. But Valverde arrived in the summer and he changed everything. And the first major decision that Valverde made was changing from their customary 4-3-3 to a 4-4-2. And it took quite a lot of people by surprise when he initially started it. But there was great logic and reason as to why Valverde thought this would be the best approach for Barcelona. And the first thing was that Messi can finally play central and finally play in his preferred false nine role where he's most effective. And the second reason was the fact that Barcelona could then use their midfield dominance and reliance more and focus more on their possession play. And the formation that Barcelona do use, it is a 4-4-2, but it's a very flexible 4-4-2. It's not rigid. The wide midfielders will look to move in field to allow the fullbacks to push forward and provide the width. And I'm going to be breaking down into detail just how effective things are. But it's not really a surprise to see Barcelona playing with a 3-6-1. And I'll tell you guys right in a second. But that's enough of the introduction, getting straight into the video. I'm going to be talking about how Barcelona like to break down teams and how they like to attack with the ball. Now, the main focus of Barcelona's attacking play is their patience in possession. That's the key thing that Valverde has instilled in his team. But how do Barcelona maximize their efficiency in possession? Well, they do that with a few things. Number one, they look to use their fullbacks to provide the width for the team. Now, originally, Dembele was brought in to provide that width for that system, but unfortunately, he's had a lot of serious injuries and it's taken him a while to really get suited to the team. And the backup replacements in Deulofeu and Paco Alcacer haven't really performed that well out wide either. So in a way, Valverde was forced to have to use the fullbacks to provide the width for the team. And by doing so, that's really helped rejuvenate Alba. And to be honest, he's probably been the best left back in the world so far this season. He's had a lot more attacking responsibility, a lot more joy. He's been able to use that telepathic relationship with him and Lionel Messi, and he's really made that left-hand side very dangerous and very potent. But how do the fullbacks actually provide the width? Well, it's not too difficult. With Iniesta playing as the wide midfield player, and when you have Paulinho on the right hand side as well, those guys do move infields, and that frees up the space on the flanks for the Barca fullbacks to push forwards. The minute Iniesta receives the ball in field, that's when Alba knows that it's his time to go forward and obviously create that width and stretch the game. Now, Roberto does do this on the other side, and he has been playing more frequently over other Barcelona right backs than Vidal and Semedo, and the main reason why is his effectiveness in the use of his possession in the final third. Now, with Semedo, he's got great pace, strength, and he's better defensively than Sergio Roberto, but when it comes to use of the ball in the final third, he really hasn't been effective enough, especially in terms of how Valverde wants his teams to play in their opponent's half. He's a much more direct threat. He doesn't really have that nuance in his game just yet. But Sergio Roberto himself doesn't really have any one-on-one attacking threat, but again, it's more of his link-up play, and in a way he becomes another midfield option further up the pitch. Now, the reason why Barcelona use such a patient possession style is because they want to create the overloads in the final third. So they'll look to keep the ball to slowly try and draw opposition teams out. Once space has been free between the lines for Iniesta or Messi to operate, that's when they can really use the width provided by their fullbacks to make those runs in behind to stretch the teams even further. Now Iniesta is key to this, but the main numero uno is Lionel Messi. Of course, Messi playing centrally does get to play his preferred false 9 role, and this is his best position because he's actually able to drop deep and act as the playmaker in a way. And with the genius of Lionel Messi, he's a guy where if he drops deep, he can easily take out 2 or 3 players with a pass or a shimmy or a dribble or anything, and that helps free up even more space in the final thirds. Plus, it does make it very difficult for Messi to be marked, and he has a lot of freedom now playing in the middle. Still, Barcelona's midfield does come into great effect as well. With Paulinho being introduced in the team, he does provide that box-to-box threat that Barcelona do need at times to make those late man runs to help stretch play even further, because they do play against a lot of teams that really do park the bus and keep the defensive structure. So it can be hard at times for Messi to get in the game because it's too congested in midfield. I'm going to be talking about midfield congestion later on in this video, so stay tuned for that. But with the midfield that Barcelona do possess, they're actually very tactically flexible, and Valverde is a very flexible manager himself. He's not set with his ways. He does know how to tinker with his team to really help them be even more efficient in the final third. For example, a Rakitic might even push forward to provide more of a threat on the right hand side if it's needed, or Suarez might be told to move to the left hand side a bit more to help Alba push up the field more and to allow Iniesta to move more central. But that's enough of Barcelona and their attacking system. How do they like to press off the ball? Now when it comes to Barcelona's new style of pressing, it's not the same as Pep's. They don't rely on just gung-ho pressing in the final third. They're actually more astute. I'm not saying one's better than the other, it's just that Valverde prefers a much more flexible means of pressing. For example, Barcelona will regularly fall back into position to make 2 banks of 4 and keep their defensive shape and structure. A lot of times Barcelona do look to press very high, and normally they do that with 2 ways. The first one is when they're already in their opposition's half with the ball, and of course they do use that very high line as well, which they can do with PK and Titi in the back. So they'll look to push up to really close down those numbers even more, to really help Barcelona create those numerical advantages even more. And another way that Barcelona will look to press high is when one of the front players does start to press the opposition defence, and we've seen this quite a lot. If you guys haven't seen my tactical video just yet, I suggest you do that. It was based on the Bournemouth game, and I was telling you guys how the Bournemouth game sums up all of our woes, and basically just another brief lowdown of what this actually means. Well, of course what they'll look to do is to press the opposition defence, and they'll look to try and funnel them into one position of the pitch. When they funnel them, let's say hypothetically to the left hand side, they'll look to press higher numbers, be very compact, and what they're hoping to do is to force us, or the teams they're playing against obviously, to give away cheap possession of the ball. And of course to reduce counter-attacking opportunities as well. So that is going to be quite dangerous, and that's going to be something I'm going to have to be very wary of when we do play against Barcelona. But now, moving into the final parts of this video, what are Barcelona's actual weaknesses? Now when I say weaknesses, I'm not trying to imply they're like a Liverpool in terms of being Jekyll and Hyde, good at doing one thing, poor at doing the other thing. But of course, naturally, every team in their system will naturally have weaknesses for that system. And that's how football works. You're supposed to exploit the opposition team's tactical weaknesses. Now there's a handful of things that Barcelona do struggle against. And the first thing actually is in terms of their possession. Now, again, you guys have to think about it like this. If you have the midfield congested, if you basically have 6 guys in midfield, especially if that's Messi dropping deeper into midfield as well, and you're playing against teams that are looking to park the bus, keep very compact and tight in the middle, not really looking to move but keep their shape, it does make the midfield very rigid and very congested. Sometimes Barcelona can be too over-reliant on being patient on the ball, and really this is why they're not as free scoring as they've normally been these past couple of years. A lot of times Barcelona are winning by 2 goals or 1 goal. Yeah, a handful of times they have won by more than 3 or 4, but it's not as consistent as it's normally been this past couple of years. And there's really one player in particular that's really struggling under the Valverde system, and that's Luis Suarez. And with Luis Suarez, this is a guy that likes to create space for himself, and he likes to make runs in behind, but he does need quick delivery to exploit that. But because of this over-reliance on patient build-up, Suarez really is struggling because a lot of the things that he's good at doing, he can't really do in a way. And because of this patient play, there's more emphasis on Suarez being able to beat a man one-on-one and being much more effective in possession. But it's been hard for him, especially because the play isn't quick enough, and there isn't really width or space for him to play into. And it's not helping too that he is getting a bit slower now, and some Barca fans are even thinking that he's starting to be in the decline right now. And the final weakness of Barcelona is that right hand side, in particular the lack of pace, and by using Sergi Roberto as a fullback where naturally he isn't very good in one-on-one defending. A lot of teams look to counter-attack down that side as well. You do get a lot of joy. It is the best side to really stretch Barcelona and to try and obviously press them in and create chances there. On top of that, the guys that normally play on the right hand side, your Poliños or your Rakitic for example, or your Gomez, don't necessarily have that recovery pace as well, so the right hand side can be exploited on the counter attack. But anyway you guys, thank you for watching today's video. Please like, comment and subscribe. Press the bell notification button if you haven't pressed it already. Smash that like button, help me get more than 500 likes for this video. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV, signing out.